we invented the automated webinar in 2008, and I wrote a report on it, shared it with my clients. And back then, because it was new and most people assumed it was live, right? The registration rates were like, 75, 80%. The show up rates were 80%, which, now you're a home run king if you can get 50%. And the conversion rate was really high. And for years, that also, I'd say for about 4 years, it gave us a huge advantage. We went from selling a couple back ends a month to a couple a day, and then even more per day. But the reason I did that is that I think that it's like something that most people are just not that familiar with, that there really is a time and moment where you can get explosive results, like asymmetric results from a strategy or tactic. And generally it's because, not always, but generally it's because it buys you a few extra seconds of attention. And by buying you, so anytime like someone's surfing online and something gets your attention, you should pay careful attention to that, because that might be actually a signal that this is something new that actually is doing exactly that.
Hey everyone, it's Rich from Strategic Profits. Before the boom of digital marketing, before everyone had a smartphone or a laptop, I was already setting the groundwork for what digital marketing would become. When I began coaching online back in the early 2000s, I had the privilege of coaching some promising talents. One of them was Ryan Deiss. Now, he went on to establish digitalmarketer.com. And if you're not aware, it's the world's biggest digital marketing training center. The term digital marketer that's used everywhere today, that was Ryan's creation. And now, he's turning to me to talk about the importance of understanding marketing life cycles, and consequently, how timely innovation and vigilance in marketing can catapult you miles ahead of your competitors. Let me share some of my personal highlights from my recent interview with digitalmarketer.com, the best digital marketing training company in the world. I had a stark realization during my business journey, which was proven time and time again. I realized that the strategies that change the course of a business all have one thing in common.
When I started coaching online, like early 2000s, right, I coached a lot of people like Ryan Deiss and a bunch of others. And one of the things that made us different, all of us, the people that became internet marketing gurus of any sort versus a lot of other people, were that we got online with direct response experience. And this phenomenon that we're talking about as far as life cycles of marketing strategies and tactics, actually, it also exists offline as well. So this is not like a new thing. In fact, I was first kind of made aware of it, I guess you could say, offline. Like when the Magalog, which is, just another format to put a sales letter in that kind of looks like a magazine, when that was first invented in like the 80s, there was a huge breakthrough in response rates. Like they doubled, tripled, quadrupled, and copywriters had their best years because there was this new format that really allowed the advertiser, you could say, or the marketer, to get a few extra seconds of attention, and that made all the difference, right? And so, offline it was magalogs, it was infomercials, it was direct faxing, all these different types of formats had their heyday. And if you got on early, you thrived.
You've probably heard of the Internet Business Manifesto, which is one of my most pivotal works. But beyond bringing me profits, this success should also clue you in something important that all marketers need to know to stay ahead of the game.
We physically experienced it myself, not just like being told stories of direct marketing past. Was when I was online for a few years, I was coaching and I was doing well for my clients. And at that time, I wasn't doing anything different than really anybody else in the space. I had this 3-month window. I had just finished a coaching program, and like a group coaching program. And I had a 3-month window until I was taking on a project with Agora. And so I had this 3-month window and I didn't have any coaching clients. And I was hoping to get maybe like a dozen clients that could kind of bridge the gap of the 3 months. So I wrote a report, free PDF. You'd say it was like one of the first lead magnets, and hoping to get like a dozen clients. And it ended up going viral, and I ended up getting thousands and thousands of clients. And that was the first time I personally experienced, trying something new, having it far eclipse my expectations. And I think that when we're talking offline, I mentioned that, almost every marketer I know has had the experience of having a strategy or tactic far exceed what they hoped for or were expecting. And that's a good kind of signal that you're actually leveraging a strategy or tactic early in its inception. So for me, the first time was with the report. The first report was called the Internet Business Manifesto. And it worked so well that for the next 18 months, that's all I did was just write free reports.
We were also right there pioneering the next wave of innovation. The response to this new strategy was beyond our wildest dreams, which really proved the monumental impact a cutting-edge tactic can have on your business success.
And during that time, we were the first to also live stream from a live event. With like the free report, which is I think a good example, we had 2 years where like my business was on fire because of it. That doesn't mean that we don't have free reports today in my business. We do, right? We just don't expect it anymore to be anything that will actually drive the business forward. It's more like filling a hole, right? And so most online businesses, like you don't need very many cutting edge, early in its inception strategies or tactics, but you need a few. Everything else can be what everyone else is doing, what everybody knows. So today, if I were to write a report, I would not have the same expectations that I did back in 2006. And we were the first to live stream back in 2007 and from a live event. And we had 10,000 people show up, no advertising, just because it was the first live stream, right? And, today, if I got on a live stream on Facebook Live, I don't know what the number would be, but I'm certain it would not be 10,000 people showing up. It would be a lot less. So live streaming also, not a thing now early in its inception, but probably the biggest experience I had with it myself was automated webinars.
But like every other strategy, live streaming didn't stay on top forever. This new type of webinars became our next frontier. Today, they might sound common, but back then, they were game changers. Let me pull back the curtain on this one. From its creation to the overwhelming response it created.
We invented the automated webinar in 2008, and I wrote a report on it, shared it with my clients. And back then, because it was new and most people assumed it was live, right? The registration rates were like, 75, 80%. The show up rates were 80%, which, now you're like, you're a home run king if you can get 50%. And the conversion rate was really high. And for years, that also, I'd say for about 4 years, it gave us a huge advantage. We went from selling a couple back ends a month to a couple a day, and then even more per day.
At one point, I experienced a deeply personal metamorphosis. This transformation wasn't just personal, it significantly influenced my business, especially leading to the birth of Steal Our Winners.
And so, I kind of have had two lives online. I had from like 2000 till 2012 or 13, where I was coaching a lot, and a lot of the products that I had were on strategy and systems and more the business side of growing a business online. And then, after the success of actually the automated webinar, I had like a midlife crisis because I had like achieved everything I wanted to, and now I wasn't happy. And so I went on this like 5-year trek to find myself, and I did. And when I came back and wanted to get back involved in online marketing, I ended up selling half my business to Agora, and then worked inside the company for a couple of years. And we actually launched this product, Steal Our Winners, when I was in Agora, and then I bought the company back.
What do you think gives a marketing tactic its power? Up next, I'll talk about the very core idea of what makes a strategy explode and why paying attention to the minute details can lead to massive results. You'll see how each piece, each tactic, each strategy fits into the larger puzzle of my digital journey.
But the reason I did that is that I think that it's like something that most people are just not that familiar with, that there really is a time and moment where you can get explosive results, like asymmetric results from a strategy or tactic. And generally it's because, not always, but generally it's because it buys you a few extra seconds of attention. And by buying you, so anytime like someone's surfing online and something gets your attention, you should pay careful attention to that, because that might be actually a signal that this is something new that actually is doing exactly that. And by exactly that, I mean outperforming to a significant degree what you're accustomed to because of this new strategy, this new tactic, this new way of kind of putting something together.
If you want to stay ahead in this ever-changing world of digital marketing, then you've got to act. Hit that subscribe button for more insights from us. And if you want the newest tactics in marketing before they become mainstream, don't forget to become a member of Steal Our Winners. Until next time, keep innovating and stay ahead of the curve to higher profits and beyond.